All right, here we go. What does 100 horsepower difference feel like? Isn't that insane to think 100 horsepower difference? That is the difference of these two bikes. Here we've got my Honda, it's a 2004 Honda RC51. It's the SP2. I've covered it quite a bit on this channel. That's roughly 136 horsepower to the crank. That's what it always says on the spec sheet. So, roughly around that. They're all going to be a little bit different. That's not a dyno number. And here we have my 2019 Ducati Panigale V4R, which does have the race exhaust, right? So all the marketing, spec sheets and whatnot, materials say this one should have 234 horse at the crank. So yeah, we're talking 98 horsepower. Just for the purpose of the video, let's say the Honda was wrong. Let's say it's 134 versus 234, right? We're not that far off. Whether it's 98 horsepower or 100 horsepower, we're right there, right? So isn't that insane to think 100 horsepower difference? Like how did we even get here, right? Like if you would have said when this bike came out, the RC51 in 2004, that just in like a few years we'd have horsepower of 200 plus, right? When we're talking, mid 130s. This wasn't the fastest, most horsepower bike when it came out. You had the CBRs that were, 20 some more, but still, like talking 200's a lot. Now we're talking 234, like almost 240. Like where are we going to be at in another 20 years? Yeah, rider aids are getting more and more advanced. It feels like the last few years, the horsepower has slowed down. And now we're just advancing in rider aids and handling and stuff like that. I hope, like part of me, I'm like, I hope we don't get more horsepower. And the other half is like, well, yeah, let's see it. I mean, I guess we got the Kawasaki H2R that's like got crazy horsepower, supercharged power and stuff like that. So, but, I have ridden both these bikes now. I have gotten this one up to speed. I do know what it feels like when you're really on it now. So I just wanted to talk about like, what does 100 horsepower difference feel like? And it is insane. It is, yes, you got the rider aids with the Ducati, you've got the wheelie control, traction control, slide control, all this stuff, but the horsepower is still there and you still feel the horsepower. So let's start with the RC51. I mean, yeah, 134 horsepower, 136 isn't that like crazy, but it's still a lot on a little bike. Yeah, it's a heavy bike, but it's still a sport bike. It's still a super bike. It's still, I love this bike, and I still feel like it's crazy fast. You do have time to shift through the gears. When I do feel like, when we talk, it's a heavy bike. When, I want to wheelie, sometimes I feel like I got to twist the throttle just a little bit more. So I don't feel, I see some comments like, this bike has to be respected. Well, I mean, I don't know, if you're a seasoned rider and this is your only bike and, you kind of know it inside and out, it doesn't really feel that intimidating. So, when you're on it, when I'm shifting, I am doing the clutchless shifts. I'm on it at speed. I'm putting upward pressure on the shift peg. I twist the throttle and it goes into the next gear. All bikes do that. If you know what I'm talking about, research it. It's the best way to shift an old bike like this without using the clutch. They're designed to do that. And so it's kind of fun to do. So that doesn't feel like cheating to me, but this one it does. This one has the quick shifter and, clutchless up and down, and I'm not having to twist the throttle with upward pressure, on the shifter. I'm just shifting when I'm still, on it full, which that does feel like cheating to me. It doesn't feel like a manual transmission. It feels like an automatic transmission, right? So when I'm on this one is, I don't know, the word dizzying, I don't feel like dizzy in the head, but I do second guess myself. The shifting is so fast, you're getting through each gear so fast that, I mean, I kind of had to practice it the first few times I did it. I wasn't missing shifts, but like, I think I was not shifting at the right RPM, right? You second guess yourself. I'm like, man, you really got to be, I don't want to say exact, but you go through it so much, right? So like just the pull, feeling the pull on this one. Yeah, you feel it on your arms, just like any sport bike. So you do feel the acceleration, you do feel the pull, but this one, you're feeling it not just in your arms, you're feeling it in your entire body. Like I feel it in my head. Like it's kind of like not a sudden whiplash, but I do feel like the pull in my neck and my head, shifting through every gear, and just the acceleration, just the pull, you feel it. And I say not a whiplash where it's like whiplashing your head, but I feel the pull not just in my arms. I feel it in my whole upper body, my neck and my head included as well. So yeah, there definitely is a difference in how they feel with 100 horsepower, even with all the traction control, all dialed it up and all that. So that's just my, unprofessional take. This is just going in a straight line. This is not, on the track curves and all that. It's just, what all of us can do. Just go in a straight line and shift through it and, have some fun. So I do want to start these up for you. It's kind of fun to have a comparison of both of them. So here we go. That V-twin, that's just the epic, iconic Honda RC51 sound. And then here we get into the V4. Here we go. Two completely different sounds. I will say the Honda, it's an enjoyable sound, but it's not like ear piercing. Where the Ducati, when I'm higher up in the revs, man, without a helmet on, just standing right here, it really does pierce the eardrums. You really do feel it. So, all right, just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Have you ridden both? Do you like one over the other? Do you agree with my comments on how it feels? Anything else I missed? Anything else I should cover? Here's, speaking of one other thing I should cover. This one is just a little bonus feature. This one, I've been waiting for the Ducati for months to arrive, and it finally got here, and then the next day this one came up on Marketplace. So this is a little 250. This is a Japanese domestic market only, so the United States did not get these. So these are 40-some horse, but the cool thing about these is these redline all the way up to 19,000, 19.5, right in there. So I'm gonna do some videos on this one. I'm having a lot of fun. It's funny, you got 40-some, so you got less than 50 horse, you got the 130 horse, and then you got the 240-some horse. So actually, or 230. So actually, that Ducati is almost 200 horsepower more than this one. So, but here I am. I'm buying these bikes, but also the next day I'm buying these bikes. These bikes are just as fun as the crazy horsepower ones. You don't have to have crazy horsepower to have fun. So this one does need a new air filter. It will start. I don't know. I'm kind of nervous about trying it in a video, if it'll start or not. It did. So when it's revving, it's smooth as can be, but idle, it's not exactly solid idle just yet. I got a new air filter coming from Japan, and we're gonna vacuum the carbs. Carbs were rebuilt, but just not vacuumed. Even like the pearl, it's just super cool. All right, so I'm getting distracted with this bike. Let me know what you guys think about the video. Weigh in on the comments. I love hearing from you guys. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and give me a subscribe. I've been growing the channel, and it's a lot of fun. I enjoy the discussions more than the video. So, all right, talk to you guys later.